1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, I could have sworn there were at least 40 trout in this tank just yesterday. Wonder where the rest of them went. You're right. I bet Mr. Rick has taken them down to Redbud Run to be able to set them free as part of our Trout Unlimited or Trout in the Classroom project. I think we should go and join him. What do you think? Sounds like a great plan. While we go, let's check out how the water here impacts the water where they're going to be living. Let's look at our watershed address. So we're going to start right here at the Discovery Museum, and let's go trace where the water comes from and how the water here affects the water at Redbud Run and beyond. Are you ready to join me on a field trip? Let's go. So what is our watershed address? Our watershed address is where we live in relation to where the water comes from and where it's going to. So starting here at the Shenandoah Valley Discovery Museum, my water address starts right here. I'm at the Shenandoah Valley Discovery Museum. And our water comes from Town Run, which we're going to go take a look at in just a moment. From there, the water goes to Abrams Creek, which we're going to go look at. It goes from there, it'll go through Redbud Run, which is where Mr. Rick is with our trout right now. From Redbud Run, it goes to the Opequon Creek. From the Opequon Creek, it goes to the Potomac River. And from the Potomac River, it goes to the Chesapeake Bay. From the Chesapeake Bay, it winds up in the Atlantic Ocean. What's your water address? And did you know that everything we do right here affects all the people who live further down the water address? And everything that people do beyond us impacts us as well. Big stuff to think about today as we start thinking about our trout and our fishy friends and how to keep the water. So we start with the water here, and you can hear the water running. Listen super carefully. And that water is going to carry us through town, right past the Shenandoah Valley Discovery Museum, where we'll meet our trout. And we are following the journey of water to look at how it impacts the Shenandoah Valley Discovery Museum trout. So I'm here in Winchester, and we're currently at Town Run. And so what I want to show you is the storm drain where the water, when it rains, if it floods, the water flows through there. And I want to show you where it goes so we can think about the things that we need to do to help keep our trout safe and healthy. So let's start by taking a look at the storm drain. This is where the extra runoff goes when it rains heavily. The water flows down through here. And where does it go? It goes directly into the creeks and streams that end up feeding our rivers. Aside from our trout, what other creatures do you think are affected by water quality? So we can see the water running through town. See how it's starting to mix together. Hey, this is Dr. Diane, and I have continued my journey in search of the watershed for our trout from the Discovery Museum. My journey has now taken me down here to Abrams Creek, which is fed by Town Run. Let's check out the quality of the water here. So the water in Abrams Creek is fed by the water in Town Run, which means that it also receives all of the non-point source pollution that would be experienced upstream. So the water quality here is dependent on the water quality further upstream, and what happens to the water here is going to affect the lives of the trout as we move further on our journey. Our next stop is Redbud Run. Hey friends, so we're down at Red Bud Run and we are going to be releasing the trout from the Discovery Museum. As we've been talking about today, everything that happens upstream affects what happens here downstream. So the quality of the water, the pollution, everything affects where the trout live. We've taken them from Winchester here to Red Bud Run. From here the water goes to the Apecan Creek, from there to the Potomac, and from the Potomac to the Chesapeake Bay and beyond. So it's important that we take care of the water, that we don't pollute, that we don't throw trash out outside, and that we look after the environment for the fish and for the people around us.
Here, let me show you. Let me show you what I want you to do. Take off. There we go.
Hey friends, so this is Dr. Diane again. Remember when we started our journey with the water back at the museum? And we've looked at how it's gone into the run and into the creek? Well, here is where our trout are going to end up. So everything that happens to the water upstream affects what happens to the people and the animals and the fish who live downstream. The pollution that happens here in the creek at Red Bud Run impacts what happens further down the road. It affects what happens in the Apecan Creek. It affects what happens in the Potomac River. It affects what happens in the Chesapeake Bay. And ultimately, it affects what happens in the ocean. So we all have a job to do in keeping our water safe. Join me in protecting our watersheds.